You trust a homeless person over a cop?
Depends on the situation.
If you were walking in an alleyway and it was a homeless guy or a cop, who would you trust to walk by more than the other?
I would walk by both of them.
Somebody was breaking into your house that you would like to have a quicker response from the police if you called them?
Yes.
There was some random smell that came in my bedroom, so I didn't know what it was. I'm not going to call the police for anything like that, of course, but it's just, you never want to feel unsafe.
I'm a white guy, and I honestly feel less safe around police officers.
What's up, guys? It's Stephen Mullins here. Today we're at UT on West Campus here in Austin, Texas. Today we were asking people whether they think defunding the police was a good idea or a bad idea. The topic of today is back in August of 2020, the Austin City Council defunded the police department $150 million, which is about a third of their budget. Do you think it was a good idea? Do you think it was a bad idea? If so, whichever one, what are your thoughts and why?
Yeah, I'm a recent move to Austin. This is my first year here, but I'm under the impression that money went towards funding social services, which, in my opinion, do a lot more for communities than police officers do.
2020 of August, the Austin City Council went and defunded the police about a third of their budget, which was $150 million. Do you guys think it was a good idea or a bad idea? If so, why do you think so?
I feel like it's a bad idea because the police need their funding for a reason, like they're here to keep us safe, but I do understand like the reason behind what they did.
I would just say whatever in the best option of the people who live in the city, the people who support the city the most, just for the general good. I think I'm in favor of it.
I think it's a bad idea. I think like a lot of people would want to like defund it or whatever because of like they think that like that's the best course of action.
I would say good idea. I think the word defunded is scary to a lot of people because it means to them like completely got rid of police force, which isn't what it is. I know that there are a lot of systemic issues.
I think the $150 million is better served elsewhere in the community and not in the hands of the police.
Bad idea because in terms of budget, like there's definitely some other places that money could go, and budgeting is always, an involved process. You got to make sure everyone gets their amount, but it's a rash move to take stuff away from the police budget when really we know that creates more stress on the officers that do get left.
Just gonna like underfund them. Now people who are kind of like already stressed in like a stressful environment, they're not going to be getting their job. They're going to be unhappy going to work, and so there's more likely to have a lot more like potential negative interactions with civilians.
Whatever they had planned, I'm pretty sure is for something that they think is best. But if not, then we just got to hope and, just pray that everything works out for the way it works out for.
It's tough, but I don't think it's a good idea as well. I think they should have the funding that they need, and the main reason they're here is to keep us safe.
I personally don't have all the information available to say make a claim on that. So it's kind of hard. My opinion, I guess, less money to the police is never a good thing. So, less money in general is never a good thing.
It probably hinders the police for what they have going on, but hopefully it just works out long term for the greater good of Austin.
They defunded it in 2020. Our homicide rate was 44 that year, and then having that lower budget the next year went up to 61 by just September. So are you saying like the lack of resources could have attributed to that?
Among plenty of other things, COVID and all that stuff affects it, so it's impossible to say. But yeah, I would say lack of resources for the police contributes to higher crime rates.
I think the bigger reason for that occurring was the fact that, like, statistically you saw that bend go down because everyone was in COVID. Crime decreased during that period. It went back up as people came back outside.
2019, before COVID, the homicide was in the low 30s, I believe. So it was almost double of 2019, and it was about a little bit more than 50% of 2020. The crime rate was higher each year going in, even with COVID, and then substantially higher the 2021 when we had a lower budget for police.
I would say bad. Obviously no one likes those stats. It's hard because I think with those results, there are good ones alongside it. Again, I don't have concrete examples, which I probably should, but
APD lost a little over 200 police officers since 2020 until now.
Everyone's quitting because of COVID and finding their, passion, so that could be a reason. I don't know.
with a defunding of the police, I think follows a lot of reorganization and things fall through the cracks, which isn't good, especially if it's homicide rates that are going up. That's a big stat to have to worry about.
A lot of that is readjustment by the department to being in an active position again in communities. Like after a year like that, you know, where you're going to see crime go up when people are outside and in contact with each other, especially after a year of like such unease.
So you don't think having more police on the streets to be able to watch and monitor people in a sense of to where people feel like they have something watching them to where they couldn't commit a crime as easily because of the consequences that are more easily to be put upon them because there are more police? You don't think that would be related to this?
I'm a white guy, and I honestly feel less safe around police officers.
There was an event that took place last semester on West Campus where I think it was a shooting that happened. One person got shot, and it took like 45 minutes for the police to recover. And it wasn't their fault. I think it was some logistical things that was going on in terms of what was being reported and whatnot. But like just anything that can, you know, cause protection, especially in West Campus with the young students around and the potential that we have to be successful. You know, people deserve to be protected. So
For sure. I mean, there's no reason. Actually, last night there was something that happened in my apartment. I felt unsafe, and so it's never a good feeling to feel like you need to protect yourself. It felt uncomfortable. I don't know what happened. There was some random smell that came in my bedroom, so I didn't know what it was. I'm not going to call the police for anything like that, of course, but it's just you never want to feel unsafe, and so I fully respect the police and what they do, so I'm all for that.
I do not feel safe around cops. I do not trust in cops. It's an undemocratic boys club, basically. You know, people with access to those circles get in.
I mean, I'm glad that they like refunded the police because like I said, like they're here to help us. And like from personal experience, like there was a shooting in West Campus literally right in front of our apartment. And so like I'm glad like they were there to like resolve that problem or whatever.
That the one that took like 45 minutes for them to come?
Yeah.
Some dude just told me.
Yeah. And it was like directly in front of our apartment. So it was a little bit too close to home for us.
If you wanted to call them in 2020, you would not be able to because if your life was not on the line, they said you couldn't they wouldn't take your calls. They wouldn't be able to send somebody out there.
Yeah, that's not good. So you obviously want to have police there 24/7 forever for whatever you want them to come out for. So if that means more money, then sure, I'm for that.
Having that money put back in, they could have more cops maybe stationed around more places so we can have a quicker response time for situations.
Absolutely. I always thought that it would be a great idea, especially like in a place like this where you have, you know, different people running around just to keep our students safe. It would definitely be beneficial. Absolutely. And you learn that.
In Austin.
Yeah, you learn that every day. And who could be protected and whatnot.
This is totally anecdotal now. You turn on TikTok, you see the dude with the Punisher skull, you know, and his military vest in his car, like mogging you with his strength or something. It's a status thing. It's a power thing. It's an ego thing.
Is this a police officer?
Yeah, I think there's a culture of that in America, and that makes me feel unsafe much more than the defunding does.
Whatever like puts me and like the people that, you know, I interact with on a day-to-day basis in more safety and like in a protective environment, like that's what I'm for.
Would you trust a homeless person over a cop?
You know, a lot of homeless people, you know, that's like a zinger, right? I don't think I have a good answer for that. It depends on the situation.
If you were walking in an alleyway and it was a homeless guy or a cop, who would you trust to walk by more than the other?
I would walk by both of them. You know, I've never been troubled by somebody in this type of area I live in the alleyways I walk down.
And of course there's going to be some not so good police officers, but that's just part of the job, I guess. Yeah, but no, I think they should have let them have their funding and stuff. So
I agree. There are some police officers who are not as good or not that good.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like with every job though?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's always going to be someone that's corrupt or has a different opinion, and it's inevitable.
I've never seen a frat party get busted by the cops. In my opinion, honestly, it's because they're incredibly well-funded organizations, and I imagine a lot of cops, you know, I don't want to say anything, but the majority of cops here are white dudes. At the same time, the majority of frat boys here are white people.
Do you think because they're white, they might be able to get away with that?
It has to. It's really because the frat culture is all about connections and you know, there's like almost like a classism to it.
Do you think maybe more training or better training would be something we could utilize the money for instead of taking it away like some people initially wanted to do?
I don't see why that would hurt. I mean, you see instances where lack of training caused deaths from police shootings. That's like them having premeditated, or not premeditated, that's the wrong word, them shooting without knowing exactly what's going on in the situation.
Assessing it correctly?
Yeah, so that would help with training.
Yes, definitely, yeah. The more educated you are in situations, you know how to address them, the safer everyone else will be. and the police officer will make better decisions.
I'm basing a lot of my statement there of past experiences with cops. You know,
Have you ever been arrested?
I've never been arrested, but I have been.
Handcuffed?
No.
Shot at?
No, but I have had a.
Chased down?
No. I've had a cop pull me over before, and it's a rattling situation. You don't know what the reason might be for. And this time I had a light out on my car on the back, the electrics.
There was backlash last year to raise the budget back up. So they actually refunded them that same amount, and then they added like an extra $8 million for random stuff. So do you think that was a good idea?
I mean, it all depends on the facts, the stats, what response that generated or how that affected things. So, I mean, I'm not going to blindly say that money's the answer to everything.
Yeah, he pulled me over for safety, but there's almost like this waiting game to know what he's there for you. Like, and also cops have the power to levy like a fiscal fine on me, and like I can.
Did he give you a fine?
I could have been fined. I think he said something along the lines of, "I'm gonna like let you off with a warning." You know.
I'd say that's pretty nice.
Yeah, but I didn't feel safe. You know, I didn't know if he was going to find me until that moment. And at the same time...
Wait, safe in like your wallet wasn't going to be safe because you're going to have to pay the fine, or safe like physically in danger, like in harm's way?
Being physical punishment is in a way a physical punishment.
Yeah, in terms of protecting the people, of course. Like, because if things were going down, if crime rates were going up and like the reaction time was going down and people were getting more harm because of it, then yeah, it was definitely the most responsible thing to do.
If we go that route, we do see the crime rate go up substantially. We see the homicide rate going up double. Do you think that there's another way we could maybe fix that problem without taking that money from the police? Because when we did that, we saw what happened with the statistics on the numbers of, like I said, the homicide, the crime rate, and the response time.
Yeah, I don't think that was causative of the police funding going down. I think that was causative of the fact that during COVID, people lost their jobs, people became poor. There's a spike in homeless people because of COVID. And at the same time, there's this massive era of urban unease that has just fallen upon America because of that.
I would say half good, half bad. I know it's annoying to keep saying it's such a balanced issue, but of course you can't just ignore the homicide rates going up and the response time going up, just like you can't ignore the systemic more black people are being killed than white by police. It's such a...
Well, that's statistically false.
See, again, don't know as much as I should, but everything that the Black Lives Matter targeted, you have to pay attention to that, but you also have to pay attention to what happens when you react to the first issue. And so it's such a swirled.
Earlier you said that because of COVID, we had a decrease in crime, and then that's why the numbers were higher in 2021. And then I gave you the numbers of 2019, which it showed that even during COVID, we had higher crime rates than 2019.
Yeah, you got me. I was just using intuition, right? Yeah.
I'm not trying to get you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give you facts. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, it's great.
I like you, man. You honestly
Thanks, man.
I've had the best conversation with you, man.
Okay, thanks, bro. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm wrapping it up here at UT. If you guys liked the video, please like it. If you have any questions or what you thought about the video, please put it down in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.
Stephen Mullins, white boy, but that's still my nigga, yeah. Yeah, I hit vlogging.